Two takeaways from tonight's game. The Heat exposed themselves as the frauds that they've been called this entire season, and the Celtics finally reached the potential that the young core have been praised about for the past few years.
Heat are not frauds. And the second thing is, congrats to the Boston Celtics. You have won yourselves the privilege to get your asses kicked by the Golden State Warriors.
So they weren't frauds, Erwin?
No,
they weren't frauds?
So I bet you're one of them, polluting all the NBA Twitter saying, oh, they were bubble guppies. Like, you can go fuck yourself.
I haven't seen anyone talk about bubble guppies.
Yeah,
bro.
all the Milwaukee Bucks fans, all the fucking Celtics fans. My bad. Trolls. Not
he actually lets trolls get to him, bro. It's the saddest thing ever, man. This is a sad person that I sitting next to. But to make things even sadder, Erwin, you want to give me an apology?
Man, you can go.
Because if I remember correctly,
you can go fuck yourself.
I think I objectively had the Celtics reaching the finals.
Yeah, you could objectively go fuck yourself. That's what you could do. But I guess since we're going that, yes, I'm going to put it on camera. I was wrong, unfortunately, about the Miami Heat. I had my prediction, the Miami Heat facing the Golden State Warriors. Now, it might be a blessing in disguise, because if the Miami Heat would have made it to the finals, while I would get great satisfaction of shutting up all the Boston Celtics fans, obnoxious trolls, the Miami Heat would have gotten swept.
Now, you can't say I was wrong. You got to say you were right.
That's as close as an apology you're going to get.
Why, bro? The only reason I'm stressing it, I don't care if you say it or not, but now I'm going to put it on camera because you were talking all this shit.
Fine, you were
in
right.
This chat with Erwin, me, and Cornell for BTD. The BTD chat, and so all excited. He kept saying after every win, and even tonight when they didn't even get a fucking lead, but they were getting close, be like, oh, Jimmy Butler is working to finally prove Andrade wrong. Oh, the Heat after winning Game 6, one more game to Andrade asses get proved wrong. Oh, this and that, and like, man, keep my name out your mouth, bro.
Okay, Will Smith.
God damn.
That's just
I've never seen another man mention my name so many times, yo. I was like, yo, Erwin.
That's it, man.
And then what happened? Bro? ¿Qué pasó? Tell me.
He made an... Jimmy, you play like... I think you shut most people off. The playoff Jimmy is a real thing.
Let's get into this.
He's okay. Good.
Okay.
All right.
No, you can go with the positive because I'm gonna rag the shit out of him right now.
No. Oh, right. Jimmy Butler deserves no fucking blame about this except the shot.
Okay.
He could have done better. He could have done better with that.
Going on the
but
shot.
Jimmy Butler has proven this. He proved it in the bubble, but he proved it this season to you motherfuckers, naysayers, saying that, oh, he's a bubble guppy. You just shove your bubble guppy up your fucking, like, you know what. He proved he's a legit star that elevates his play to superstar levels during the NBA postseason when it matters the most.
No, that's true.
No doubt about it.
However, he also proved that he doesn't fucking think like an NBA vet superstar with that dumbass 3 that he took. Let me stress this. No, because Erwin's not going to fucking understand this.
To defend him, he was feeling it. He was hot.
He was feeling it.
I know.
No, that was a poor shot attempt. That was one of the most ass shot attempts that I have seen in the final 20, 15, 10, whatever seconds was left on the clock for a Game 7 elimination game.
I want to see you, man, slow down your mind and thinking like you're going through that shit and be like,
if I've been in the NBA for as long as Jimmy has, and I had the talent that he had, or not even the talent, if I've been in the NBA, even just me right now sitting here, we're in the NBA for as long as Jimmy has, I know that if I got the ball and there's fucking that much time left, and all I'm seeing is, okay, we're in transition, I'm looking at the space, there's mad space, there's only one defender close to the basket, the other one was far away or distant enough. You go for the fucking layup. You go for the 2 because they weren't down by 3. They were down by 2. And
he was going for the kill.
In transition, he got the rebound. He was going for the transition. And he decided to stop on a dime and go for a 3. Explain to me.
They were down by 3.
No, they were down by 2.
99 to 96.
No, they were down by 2. I'm pretty sure they were down by 2. He didn't have to do the 3. The 3 was to go for the win. It wasn't to go for a tie.
Okay.
And I'm just like, what the fuck was that? What? You just drive to the basket, you might get a foul, and there you can get the dagger if it's a 3-point play. But at the very least, you tie it. Boston would have had like 3 to 4, maybe 5 seconds or less on the shot clock, and then you play fucking roughhouse defense and you take it to overtime. It was that simple, and Jimmy Butler let that shit slip away. I couldn't believe when he went for that 3. To me, that is one of the stupidest shot attempts I've seen recently, especially in an elimination game. Like, I expect, and not just was it a bad shot attempt, but I'll call it stupid because, like, I expect better from Jimmy buckets. Like, he is a basketball savant. He has a good basketball mindset. It is not like fucking Max Strus or Duncan Robinson or fucking Tyler Hero.
Oh,
like,
damn, you're ragging on your
Jimmy
boy.
Butler.
Like
well, they have little experience. You know what I mean? They haven't been in the league that long.
Is Tyler Hero out of your boys group?
Not yet. We'll talk about that later, but not yet. He's on the fringe of it, but he's not.
Damn.
But yeah. And speaking of slip away, let's talk about how Boston almost let this game slip away. Boston, to me, I'm not gonna say Irwin's got them in 5. I think the Warriors will beat them in 6. However, there is no doubt that the Warriors are by far the favorite against the Celtics. A couple reasons why. The Warriors have 4 shot creators. They got the championship pedigree. They got more experience. All that regular stuff, or like that obvious stuff, cool. That's understandable. But one thing that Boston keeps confusing me and letting me down with is, like, we talked about this in game 6. They have to work on their closing gene, man. They are not closers. Even I forgot, I think it was Brown in the post conference, not in the post conference. I know. But like when he got interviewed at the end of the game,
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, he was like, we like to let things get hard. Something I don't like about the team. Something like that. I'm paraphrasing.
We like to do it the hard way.
Yeah,
like we gotta stop doing that.
And when he said that, I was like, thank you. Even Brown is acknowledging the Celtics' problem. Like, they need to just shut shit down and just cap it before the snake gets too big, basically. Because with the Heat, there was no reason for Boston, especially being the better team, but having led the entire fucking game by a significant chunk, to let it be that close towards the end. Like, I get it, Heat culture, Jimmy buckets, all that, but like in the end, the Heat didn't have a second go-to shot creator, which has been their problem the entire season, and they just kept biting themselves in the foot too. There was no reason for them to get that close. Boston should have kept them at arm's length, like, and that's it. And they keep that arm gets shorter and shorter and shorter when the pressure starts amounting for them. And sometimes I keep getting like scared for them. Like, dude, it reminds me of the old Boston Celtics that me personally didn't think would go far in the playoffs. And I said this before. It was only until this year, especially after the first round, where my opinion evolved. And I'm like, okay, I have gathered new evidence on this Boston Celtics team. I think they can make the finals. And here we are. But against the Warriors, that non-closing gene, nah. That shit's not gonna work out. Miami went on like an 11-something run, like 11-0 run. The Celtics, the Warriors, they go on 11-something.
It'd be a 25-0 run.
Yeah, in the blink of a fucking eye. So that's another thing why I got the Warriors taking it. Like, not even like, I don't say easily, but like confidently, because it's like. So, and they're a good defensive team, but for whatever reason, there's these moments where they just kind of implode, and then shit just slips away. But luckily, they're talented enough where they've gotten this far because they could
get away with it.
And they're able to like regather themselves before it gets too far away. But with the Warriors, that shit is not gonna fly.
Okay, maybe not confidently that the Warriors are gonna win because look.
What do you mean? You said Dubs in 5.
I did, but that was like me, like in the heat of the moment, being like super upset, like about the Heat, and I'm like, everybody in Boston, go fuck yourselves, like type shit. But like, okay, now going back to earth, like I'm more calm. The Celtics have the talent to be able to pull off the upset, but like you were saying, like they're gonna have to keep their foot on the gas, be like at 100%, and hope that the Warriors get cocky and they slip up and they can pull off the upset.
That is true. The Warriors do have a tendency to sometimes get cocky, and that shit could bite them in the ass.
And unlike the Warriors, the Celtics, like, shit, man. people have been talking about the postseason that they've been tested, but man, they have been tested since like February when they were like,
that's true.
Like they were in no means to like even make the postseason, and people were talking about like, oh, we got to break up Jaylen Brown, we got to break up Jayson Tatum.
Yeah, that was huge. Like January, February, that was big. We even made a video talking about it.
And not only were they able to turn that around, people
180, yo, 180.
People are already writing them off. Even me, man, I'm thinking like, oh, KD, Kyrie, oh, good luck, bro.
Same.
Like you're getting your ass kicked by the Nets. I'm celebrating, like thinking like, oh, we avoided the Nets in the first round, the Warriors and shit. Celtics are gonna have fun with that. What did they do? They proved their ass wrong. Against the Bucks, the defending champs, even without a Middleton, Giannis was going off and doing their thing.
The greatest player in the world, undoubtedly.
They figured it out. They passed through that series. They easily could have been like, hey, Middleton is out. Let's take our foot off the gas. They get upset regarding that. The Miami Heat, they definitely could have underestimated the name. The Celtics, man, we have Tatum, we got Brown, we got Smart.
Because they, majority of people had them as the better team. Yeah.
They only got Jimmy Butler, and that's it. I'm like, when it comes to that.
But they defeated Heat culture.
And they beat them not once, not twice, I think 3 times in the fucking Heat's arena, which is pathetic.
Embarrassing.
Yeah, I'm like.
But
kudos to them. The Celtics, they're definitely more playoff tested than
No, and I'm glad you pointed all that out because I have said, okay, if the Celtics win this championship, to me, I think it'll go down to in the history books, one of the best playoff runs of all time, at least in modern NBA history.
Yeah.
Like he said, KD, Kyrie, Nets, who are by a lot of people the favorites in the East and the favorites to win it all at one point.
Yeah.
Even when Harden got out. And then, and don't forget, when we look back years from now, they're going to be like, oh, that's 2 Hall of Famers at least against that team. Bucks. Yes, Middleton was missing, but you have Giannis, the greatest player in the world, the greatest player on that floor when both teams were on the floor.
Drew Holiday's no scrub.
Exactly. And the Bucks are still the defending champions with a good amount of the court from that championship run there. So you're playing against people with championship pedigree and still gutted out past them. And then the Heat, who arguably in this series, Jimmy Butler was the best player out of both teams.
Yep.
And they're still able to get past them, still able to go get past that Heat culture that people praise about, people make fun of, etc. And then if they can beat the comeback dynasty Warriors with already 3 solidified Hall of Famers, come on, like that. And also one of the greatest coaches of all time in Steve Kerr. Like, dude, that's one of the greatest championship. And then forget the greatest playoff runs. Like Erwin said, I didn't think about this until he mentioned it right now. Going back to January, February, like, wow, like all this, and it was heavy. The discussions were heavy. Like, is it time to end this Boston experiment? Because now it's been 4 or 5 years now. It's been a minute. And a lot of people were also on board with it too. Like, even I was on board. He was on board. A lot of analysts were on board. A lot of ex-players were on board.
I mean, Andrade gets a little trigger happy when it comes to like, oh, they lost the game. Break the process. But
true. But it's like, then you will look back, and if they win a championship, it's like, damn. Literally at the beginning of 2022 to the middle of 2022, the Boston Celtics had a destiny-like championship run. That's if they won it all. And that would literally be one of the most fascinating and greatest championship runs of all time, in my opinion.
As a basketball fan, I would love that.
Yeah, because once your team is out, like, you can look at things more objectively. Now the Heat are out, like, I know at least for Erwin, because I had the Celtics winning this, because objectively speaking, I just thought they were the better team. Mm-hmm. But now it'll be a lot easier to just go with this as a basketball mindset analyst and not be like so. Because I hate it, but part of the reason I kept going against the Heat, besides like not, my brain telling me like they just weren't the right choice to win it all this year or to make it to the finals. I also told Erwin at one point, like, I'm doing this because emotionally I gotta distance myself, because when your sports team loses, it's painful. Like right now we're in pain. This game 4, the entire time that I was watching, game 7, the entire time I was watching it, I'm just like, fuck, like, okay, the Celtics are proving what I've been saying, and now it looks like they're gonna win.
Like Boston,
I was right, Boston in 7, but at the same time, I was like, I want the Heat to win.
No, and it made
I want Miami to make this run.
It made it worse, man. I'm like Boston. I'm like, okay, come on, make this into a blowout. Take this.
That's true. When you're close, it's worse.
Just eliminate my suffering, man. But I'm like, you know what? Let's let the Heat get closer. And then, oh my god,
yeah, exactly.
Like, Jesus Christ.
It always hurts to lose when it's close.
But on the positive,
because you think there's a chance.
But on the positive, thank fucking God for Game 6 and Game 7. We got some legit good basketball for the most part. Like
this series, both conference series were boring as fuck.
Yeah.
But this one ended on a high note. And my bad, guys, I'm truly nice.
Yeah.
And at least it didn't end in a blowout per se, Game 7, but Celtics had control the entire game minus that last like 2 minute. And
man, they almost slipped. Yeah.
It's like, fuck, I wanted the Heat to stay in it. What they did those last minute or two, it's what the game should have been the entire game. You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
But nobody was doing shit. Bam. Yes, he scored 25 points, but if you were watching the game, he missed a good amount of clutch shots. He was just sometimes aggressive and then sometimes not. And it's like, bro, I can't do this no more. I'm sorry, you're cut. And then
no, not even, man. It's more of a three.
And then Tyler, he wasn't on like, yes, he was injured. He played. Got some minutes in the first half. Didn't even score nothing this entire game. And I don't know if the injury had anything to do with it. He's not feeling well or whatever.
That's
but Spoelstra, yeah, not 1 minute I think he saw it in the second half.
Yeah, and then he just didn't have it.
And when they put Tyler on the floor, I forgot who said this. I think it was Stan Van Gundy, but somebody said, one of the commentators said, "This is bad." And to me, the Heat putting Tyler Hero in is a sign of desperation, and I 1,000% agree with that. And I was like, man, if the Heat lose tonight, this moment is gonna go down, and it did. And that's why I'm bringing it up, because it's like the Celtics were just running with it in the Heat's arena, the new FTX arena, and I'm just like, what the fuck is happening? But again, it acts as evidence to one of my points that I bring up every year in the playoffs. Home court advantage isn't as important as some people think, and ranking in the regular season isn't as important as some people think. I mean, they kind of go hand in hand, but I've been stressing the home court advantage because the better team will always win. Majority of times, yeah. Most of the times, the better team will win. The only thing stopping them is major injuries. That's why the Bucks lost. If the Bucks had Middleton, I think they would have beat Celtics. Yeah. And I think they would have beat the Heat. And I think they would have beat the Heat in less than 7 and then gone against the Warriors. And honestly, a Giannis, Middleton, Holiday, Portis, Bucks versus this Warriors team, that to me would have been the best basketball for us. Because that to me would have been much more, it can go either way. Warriors versus Celtics, I'm sorry. And even if it was Warriors versus Heat, like, no, the Warriors are far, far more talented, skilled, and experienced than either of those teams. And yeah, but I'll give Boston 2 games. We'll talk about this more in the series preview. We'll talk about Boston versus Golden State.
They have a legit chance.
I think they have. I'll give Boston 2 games.
They have a chance. Okay, I guess to touch up on one last time with this Heat and Celtics. Another good thing I would like to say about this loss for the Heat. This opens up another opportunity for another trilogy. I was speaking about that a lot.
Tell them.
For the Heat versus Bucks, I was footing that. I was wanting the Bucks because of that trilogy. They kicked their ass, in the last. I'm like, let's give us a chance to kick their ass or do something to get some revenge.
That's true.
But now with the Celtics, credit to you guys,
and
man.
And arguably, this could be a better trilogy because both teams lost against each other in the conference finals. That didn't happen with the Bucks and Heat. It happened once, but then the other time it was in the first round.
So in the bubble about a couple years back, the Heat, we beat the Celtics in 6. This year, the Celtics, they beat us in our house in Game 7.
Our house.
So I just think it even worse.
Honestly, that Bam block that he had on Tatum has more than completely come back from that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, then so.
And their boys and they talk each other in the chat. Like they have a chat. I've seen it in Bam's interview. So I know at this, like, if I'm Tatum's probably like, yo,
that might explain why.
Shut the fuck up. Like, I don't want to hear shit about that block no more.
That might have been why Bam ripped his jersey. He was saying,
it's like, oh fuck, I'm gonna hear it tonight.
So I'm like, he's gonna have that shit on mute for the longest time.
And something else I wanted to point out was, speaking of like greatest playoff runs, if the Heat were to win a championship next year, and then they beat the Celtics and they beat Boston,
the Bucks
and the Bucks, to win a championship, that would be one of the greatest Heat playoff runs ever, because that's 2 trilogies and then whoever else they face and then the finals.
No, they'll fucking feel amazing, man. That's like no, I'm not gonna bring that up.
Yeah, but it's not gonna happen unless they get a second go-to shot. That was the Heat's biggest problem tonight, guys. Like you couldn't rely on anybody, and you can't just rely on a 33-year-old Jimmy Butler, especially after he has exerted the shit out of himself last game. Like, come on, Bam, come on. Like, you gotta rely on a fucking guy who came from the G League and Max Strus, like an undrafted guy. Like, he's good, but he's not on the same pedigree as you're supposed to be, Bam, or even Tyler. But Tyler, again, injury, so whatever. Lowry, I would trash more Lowry, but again, he's not exactly fully healthy, so whatever. He had a couple clutch moments. Yeah, he tried. He sacrificed himself.
He showed he was a warrior.
But at the same time, Brown, Tatum, and Smart, beautiful trio that they got going on. Al Horford, rejuvenated as a motherfucker. I am so happy for him. One thing I do have to point out is now that Al Horford is finally in the finals, guys.
For the first time.
After having the most postseason appearances in NBA history without making the finals, he got that record in Game 6, and now he's in the finals.
And he seems like a good guy, so I like good things to happen.
And he's Dominican. Shout out to my fellow Latinos.
There you go, man. Hey, that Dominican blood, that bachata, that shit going on, man. Let's go. Big Papi energy.
Yo, if the Celtics win the championship, well, even if they win or lose, he's going to be in DR this summer.
Don't even... Oh, God damn it. Now you're manifesting that shit. Because if the Celtics win the championship this year, all the shit that they gone to, I thought they milked the shit out of the 2008 championship. Oh, my God. For the rest of my life, I'm not going to hear, like, the end of this, man. I'm going to be like...
Well, 90. I'm not going to lie. If the Celtics win this year, I think they'll probably win another one with this core.
I hope so.
Because this is a young core that has proven itself. Brown, Tatum, again, all they got to work on is that closing gene. But once they figure that out, I'm not gonna lie, Boston's future in the East looks fairly bright, unless the only thing they gotta look out for is Milwaukee, because like I said, I think they would have beaten them with Middleton, and then see what shuffles around. Because the Bulls, hey man, I don't know if LaVine's staying there. However, I also don't know if LaVine is staying in the East. There's that Lakers rumor, and I'm not gonna lie, it kind of makes sense. And he did play in UCLA, I think he has star power in him.
And whether you're good or not, man, the Heat, they're gonna still be lurking around. I think
they can poach. I mean, the Heat have been known for poaching stars and superstars. Let's not forget, they had LeBron. Actually, not even a couple years back now. It's been like a decade. But
Bradley Beal.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm just, if the Heat can somehow get Embiid, which I do think is possible. I know people are like, oh, we got a comment. You think the Sixers are going to trade Embiid? Yes, motherfucker. AD, Harden, and Ben Simmons have proven that player empowerment is at an all-time high. And if you bitch and you moan and you make life hard as hell for your franchise, it pushes and push them to the brink with it. And there's a good chance they'll respond to your wishes.
And I want to add to this. Embiid doesn't seem like that type of bitch and moan in public. It doesn't mean that he's not gonna say anything in the closed doors. Like, hey, like, if you motherfuckers don't do something.
Embiid would bitch in public. I could see that easily. Maybe he'll send a couple of tweets. I mean, he kind of already tweeting
put it out
that
there
Miami
already.
He's a superstar. Like,
it's like saying might have been a shot to.
I don't want to read too much into it, but yeah, that's that's like a low key
like, yo, Pat Riley, come get me. You have the pieces to get him. But anyways, man, we'll save all that Heat talk for the off season.
Yeah, we'll do our takeaways for some the top teams from these playoffs. And I think the best team won at the end of the day. Celtics, y'all deserve it. Congrats.
Kudos to you. Celebrate.
I look forward to the finals. Yeah, celebrate, because I'm not gonna lie, either of us had, if the Heat made it or the Celtics made it, losing against the Warriors, because it's the Warriors, man. They just seem too overpowered right now. And just like it could be destiny for the Celtics, it could also be destiny for the Warriors. You know, keep in mind they've had their ups and downs in these past few years.
Absolutely. Keep in mind, guys, we appreciate all the love and the hate. You guys already know. Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all podcast streaming platforms. We'll catch you guys soon. For now, later.
Take care.